So in the context of longevity, more than any drug, more than any supplement, more than any intervention, more than any diet, the one thing that improves both longevity and a high quality of life is exercise. So you've heard that over and over again, but what is meant by that? So we're going to dissect what's behind the recommendation for exercise, because there are actually 3 separate individual types of exercises that everybody should be pursuing to optimize their life and extend their life. And the data on this, by the way, is unequivocal. There is very strong evidence to support that not only does it extend life and quality of life, but it also seems to prevent, to some extent, cancer, cardiovascular disease, Alzheimer's. So for all those reasons, exercise is the most potent tool to use in maximizing health and longevity. So first thing we're going to talk about is VO2 max, okay? And that's behind the recommendation for cardiovascular exercise. So it's not just we're recommending exercise as a general rule, which what most physicians will do, which is great, but you have to be specific, right? So there are 3 forms of exercise we're going to be recommending. One is cardiovascular, one is strength training, and the third is balance and stability exercises, okay? So everybody needs to do those 3 things, especially after middle age. And so we're going to dissect them. Cardiovascular exercise, what's behind it? What we're talking about here is maximal heart rate and VO2 max, trying to optimize those. Can you improve on maximal heart rate? That seems to be hardwired. Maximal heart rate is you're born at 220 and then minus your age. So that's how you calculate a maximal heart rate. And so that one seems to point to a maximal lifespan of perhaps 120. Keep in mind, by the age of 120, your maximal heart rate will be about 100. So getting out of bed in the morning, you're pretty much at your maximal heart rate. But closely related to that is your VO2 max. And that can be dramatically. Why is that important? VO2 max is generally measured as mLs of VO2 utilized per kilogram per minute. Okay, so let's say it takes you 25 mLs of oxygen per kilogram per minute to walk up a flight of stairs. I know that if I see you and you're in your 50s, you're going to be decreasing by about 10% your VO2 max, all things being equal, over the next decades. And so by the time you're 80, you're down 30%. If right now your VO2 max is 30 or 35, that is, you're basically a couch potato, you're not going to be able to climb a flight of stairs by your 70s. And so that's not where you want to be. That's not an option for most people. Nobody comes to me and says in their 50s, well, by the time I'm 70, I don't care if I go up a flight of stairs. So that has to change, and it can change. Cardiovascular exercise program is something that has to start and has to start regularly. You don't have to get nuts about it, but I would recommend about a 30-minute cardiovascular exercise routine, either Stairmaster, elliptical, stationary bike, swimming. Do something you enjoy, and do that 2 or 3 times a week. I think if you do that, you're well ahead of the game and you maintain that. If you want to get sophisticated about it, yes, you can actually check your VO2 max, but that is a somewhat elaborate test. It's expensive and it requires very specialized equipment, but probably everybody who has access to it should try to have it done at least once every 5 or 6 years. So cardiovascular exercising is really for the purpose of increasing VO2 max. And once you do that, then your quality of life is going to be much better and it will be maintained into older age. By the way, VO2 max can be increased at any age. You can start at any point. It's much more difficult to start later, but with supervision, it can be achieved.